Maybe the refined olive oil does not give you all those which you could have got from our indigenous oils. What are the side effects of refined oils? Nausea, headache, and hives on your skin, dizziness, fever, joint pain, constipation, flatulence, acne breakout, and diarrhea. These are very, very common. And when we switched to refined oils, we were not aware that what these oils are going to do with our health. But now, after research, after using for so many years, we know that these are the effects which we have been facing for so long. Coming to nuts and seeds, which are high in good mono and polyunsaturated fat, high in vitamin E, good source of fiber and protein, and are associated with favorable body weight outcomes linked with CVD and diabetes and protection. What are the health benefits of nuts? Help in preventing cancer, as I just said, helps in boosting our immunity. They're very good because they provide us very good number of antioxidants. They are very rich in antioxidants, zinc, selenium, vitamin E. They are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. So that is why we recommend that you must consume different nuts every day. Instead of eating other snacks, and please try to shift yourself from eating cookies, from namkeens, bhujiyas, try to shift to seeds and to nuts as snacks for your family. So almonds are heart healthy, they are powerful nutrition, they give you like good amount of protein. You can soak those, you can peel, or without peeling, you can eat. Soaking improves the availability, that is the bioavailability to you. So you can always soak in water, and you can always eat without soaking or with soaking. Both are good. 6 gram of protein you get in 30 grams of almonds, and 12 vitamins and minerals you get, and very good amount of, as I said, monounsaturated fats, a rich source of magnesium. These are gluten free. These are, we are really hearing lot of you and cry that I have gluten enteropathy and gluten enteropathy, and I'll not eat wheat, rice, wheat and barley and all those things. So, but these are gluten free. So anybody can eat. If you have gluten enteropathy, or if you don't have gluten enteropathy or any allergy, you can eat nuts. So these nuts. So these are good for diabetes and are very good for weight management because they keep you satiated for long. Why these are good for weight management? Because if you are eating a fistful, that is 10 to 15 grams, what the recommendation is that roughly between 5 to 10 in a day, not more than that we are recommending. So you can eat 5 to 10 almonds of different varieties. You can use California almonds, you can use Mamra, or you can even use Gurmandi, whichever you like, are all good sources of different nutrients. The benefits of walnuts. It's a rich source of alpha-linolic acid, that is omega-3, protects from chronic diseases, gives you high immunity, anti-carcinogenic. Melatonin is naturally found in walnuts. So these are rich sources of melatonin and rich sources of protein, fiber, magnesium, and phosphorus. Peanuts and pistachios. Peanuts. Please do not overdo peanuts. You can eat once again less than 20 grams of peanuts in a day. That is 10 grams only per day if you eat. That is good for you and a good source of protein, very healthy for the brain, fights free radicals, contain good fats, rich in vitamin E. As I said, all are rich. I have listed the health benefits of pistachios as well, because these also help in cardiovascular benefits, helps in weight management, provides anti-inflammatory benefits. That is why these are recommended to boost your immunity, because they have anti-inflammatory resistance. They give you anti-inflammatory, and your immune system gets stronger by eating good amount of pistachios. Once again, 20 grams, not more than that. Seeds, we have many seeds in the market coming up and has been there throughout our life. Since childhood we have seen sunflower, hemp, pumpkin, flax, chia, sesame, different seeds, but they all have their own contribution to make to our health. And if we make a mix of all these seeds, that is the best. That you consume a mix of different seeds. And how much to consume? Once again, you should not consume more than 1 tablespoon in a day. 1 tablespoon means 15 grams of seeds, because they give you good amount of selenium, magnesium, and zinc. They're very, very good sources of each one of these. Vitamin B vitamins, they give you good amount of vitamin K. But if somebody is on blood thinning medicines, please consult your dietitian before you start consuming seeds. That is again important. Sesame, like till, these are also good source of calcium, a very, very good source of calcium, and they promote bone health and antioxidants and provide you good amount of manganese. And chia seeds, which help lose weight, maintain your weight, and reduce inflammation in your body. If you just soak 1 teaspoon of chia seeds overnight and then you drink that or eat that gel, that is very good for satiety and gives you good amount of zinc and proteins. Flax seeds, you can include in your salads, you can include flax seeds in your drinks, in your charge. You can just crush these and eat, or you can even make your own cookies at home with these. So these have lignans, very good amount of lignans, which help promote digestive health and prevent breast cancer. So there we have health benefits of raisins, particularly for infants and children. If you give them minimum of 5 grams of raisins every day, this helps cure bloating and acidity, and these are very good antioxidants, and they help fight tooth decay because they'll be chewing it and eating. Figs, as we all know, anjeer. We get dried anjeer in this form as I have shown in the picture. So you can include any form. If you get fresh, you can include fresh. If you don't get fresh, you can use these, soak these overnight and drink the water as well and eat, and you will get good amount of iron also. These are very rich in iron, very, very rich in fiber, and they help fight chronic constipation, hemorrhoids. People really come to us with hemorrhoids because these are helpful in getting you out of those conditions, and they also help in better sleep, and such as people who cannot sleep, insomnia, they help. Now the berries, the strawberries, the blueberries, the raspberries, the cranberries, the goji berries, I have already discussed. And the strawberry, these are rich in antioxidant. We also get a mix of berries. You can always include mixed berries also in your diet. How to consume these? You can add these in your porridges, you can add these in your drinks, you can add these in your salads. So these will give you good amount of antioxidants, your dietary fiber, good amount of vitamin C, and they also contain allergic acid, which is a compound that stops the growth of tumor causing cells. And that is why they help you in boosting your immunity. And they keep your metabolism running very smooth. As I said, that you can include these. Now, as Dr. Garg also said, that there are spices which really help us: cinnamon, turmeric, garlic, cumin, ginger, ashwagandha, and moringa. These are very, very good to be included every day in our diet, and more or less in each family these are included while we cook our food, and people have made it a habit to eat at least chew one garlic pot early in the morning, because that also helps in boosting our immunity. Cinnamon functions as a brain boost and it encourages cognitive ability. So it's always better to give infants, children, little amount of cinnamon in different drinks, like in milk, you can add little bit of cinnamon, and it's a glucose moderator and is antibacterial and boosts our immunity manifold. Garlic, it's anti-inflammatory and has antiviral properties. Antiviral, so very very good recommendation for you that to increase your immunity to fight the third phase of COVID is include garlic every day and try to eat at least one pod in the morning, chew it and eat it. That is really good. Has been used to treat stroke, cancer, immune disorders, arthritis, and cerebral aging. Health benefits of turmeric. I cannot even count how many benefits turmeric has. And the Lactodome, you all know that this is a place in Shillong where we get very, very good amount of turmeric, that is curcumin. Curcumin. But a word of caution again, please do not include uh, 3 or 4 cups of haldi milk in your diet every day. 1 cup of haldi milk is sufficient because we add turmeric in our cooking as well. So there is no need to include 4 to 5 cups. And please do not consume 10 to 12 cups of kara every day because once again, too much of anything is not advisable. So if you want to increase your immunity, drink 1 cup of kara every day. It's a very, very hot summer. So please do not include too much of spices, too much of these things. Include more of fruits and vegetables and make more of charge. Include more of liquids, more of water, more of coconut water, and plenty of plain water because those are really important. And not only this, that we know that turmeric is good and curcumin is good for health, so we include 4, 5, 8 cups of haldi milk. No, just drink 1 cup of haldi milk every day because it is anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic, antibiotic, a very good antibiotic, and helps prevent your diabetes, controls diabetes, prevents arthritis, detoxifies the liver, improves skin health, helps in wound healing, boosts your immunity system, and improves your digestion. This is very important, but please do not include much of it. And the ginger, like we all add ginger in our tea, we also add ginger in our cooking. So once again, not overdo it, just include a little bit of ginger in your diet. It helps in preventing nausea and vomiting. We all know these have been told to us dadi maa ke nuskhe, and relieves from menstrual cramps and ovarian cancer, anti-aging, and gives you good amount of immunity. So, best benefits of cumin. Now, the cumin, the jeera, it aids in digestion, eliminates phlegm and mucus. If we are giving cumin water to patients, particularly during when they are suffering, so we can include the cumin drink for them. If we just boil cumin, only 2 grams of cumin boiled in 1 cup of water is sufficient. And strain it, and anybody who is suffering from COVID can drink it. It really helps eliminating phlegm and mucus because otherwise there are many, many other things which, like I said, it boosts immunity and fights viral infections. So, but not overdo it once again, and it is a very good source of dietary fiber, and but we use very little quantities of this. As I said earlier also, I have discussed green tea. Green tea boosts your immunity because it's very good, but again, not more than 2 cups of tea. And black tea, thank you so very much for such patient hearing. I'm so glad to be amongst you again and again. And I would urge Dr. Adegar, the management, and Dr. Seema, and I congratulate them that they keep on arranging such seminars, at least even if on web, but these are very beneficial for the society, for all of us. We learn from each other. Thank you so much. I wish you good luck. Stay healthy, stay safe, and keep playing. Keep boosting your energy through foods and through activities, and keep yourself physically active, please. That is the most important thing, that what you really need to do. Thank you so very much once again. I wish you all good health and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for giving valuable information about the superfoods which are available nearby us, but we are unaware about this, and even we don't know how much we have to intake the quantity of these superfoods, and about the veggies, fruits, oils, nuts, and seeds. Very, very thankful to you for providing us the valuable information. Today is Doctors' Day, and I wish all the doctors present here happy Doctors' Day. They are the real warriors who protect us, and I'm heartily thankful to all the doctors present here. Now it's time for our first technical session. Our first eminent speaker is Dr. Shilpa Thakur Chadda, Chief Consultant, Dietitian, Asian Hospital, General Secretary, IDA Delhi Chapter, Co-Convener, NetProof Delhi Chapter. Madam is MSc Food Nutrition, PG Diploma in Nutrition and Diabetics. With 24 years of experience in the field of nutrition, presented many research papers at international and national conferences. She is chief consultant for the best-selling books published by Caliban Publications Canada. The Spice is Right. It is one of the best-selling books in US, was highly appreciated and recognized. She worked on a project for WHO, Nutrition for Staff Health. Ma'am is the life member with many memberships, IDA, IAPN, IFSO, NSI, and many other organizations. Please welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Anju. Thank you for the kind introduction. Please accept my sincere gratitude and thanks. And thank you, Principal Sir Dr. Garg from IB College, Seema Ma'am, and Dr. Venti for inviting me to this conference and giving me the opportunity to talk on this very important topic. And I would really like to congratulate the whole organizing team for such an important, conducting such an important conference. I think it's a need of the hour. And I would like to start on with my presentation by a quote, which was, I think, which is exactly or which has been more pertinent in today's situation when the whole world is grappling with this deadly pandemic. It is the health that is the real wealth, not pieces of the gold and silver. Very rightly and amicably being said by Mahatma Gandhi ji. So, the topic which I was being given to talk today was building up the new immunity through nutrition in kids and adults, particularly. So, if I talk about our life to a year back or so, or more than a year back, each one was or us was been battling with or been fighting with our own things. And suddenly, this pandemic came over, and the entire world, throughout even India, was in the midst of this pandemic, and we were all scared with some unanswered questions of how, when, where, and whom this virus is going to strike. And I think we were all feeling very insecure also, both emotionally and financially also. And it was tough time for all, and we are been still passing through that same time. Being house arrest, that was the most daunting experience we have been going through, not for the frontline warriors, but for rest of all of us who have been working. And adhering to all the norms which were being shared by the government and the health professionals, it has like become mandatory for all of us, and we have been following that. That is where we have been come out through that kind of with that stride with the positive thoughts and doing the family together. That has been some partial winning of this battle, not completely. But I would like to say over here that the one thing which all of us have realized during this, maintaining social distancing, good hygiene, everything was important, but the adequate nutrition which has come out has to be practiced without any doubt for the best protection of this against COVID 19 or against any of these deadly viruses. That is the major thing which we have realized. And I think all agree with me for this thing that nutrition plays a very important role if we talk about immunity build-up. So this is the topic on which I am going to cover up. I would request organizers to please help me sharing my slides. So we'll move on to the next slide. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Okay, but okay. So my flow of presentation would be, I would introduce to the topic, the key indications for the low immunity, the factors which boost up, especially in case of children immunity, the role of macro and the micronutrients, the role of antioxidants and phytochemicals. I would just give a brief about it because Dr. Vinti has explained them in detail, very clear and a crisp presentation she has shared with us. Combating diseases through balanced nutrition and building immunity of adults through good nutrition and the take-home message. So if we talk about, next slide please, immunity. So immunity is basically the talk of the town, and if nowadays what there are two major things which has been going on. One is the race to the vaccine is on, and we need to protect ourselves, and each one of them has been fighting for that how to come out of this COVID-19. So virus is totally new to our immune system. We all know about this thing, and our bodies are not prepared to fight it off also. So in the wake of this COVID-19 pandemic, people are increasingly becoming aware of the importance of the good nutrition, especially. So European Journal of Clinical Nutrition concluded that with adequate nutrition, the immune system is clearly deprived of the components needed to generate an effective immune response. So good nutrition is basically thus an important in supporting an optimum immune system, which can actually reduce the risk of viral infections. So if there is protein calorie malnutrition, if there is any kind of vitamin or mineral deficits, they all in some aspects impair our immunity. Proper nutrition is the key factor that influences our immune system. That is the only thing. And our immune system involves our lifetime to protect the bodies against this pathogen. It can be it works at two levels: the innate response, where the body responds to a viral infection immediately with a non-specific innate response in which the macrophages and the neutrophils slow down the progress of the virus. And second is the adaptive response, which is the non-specific response followed by an adaptive response where the body makes the antibodies that specifically binds to the virus. So both these act together as a fine-tuned machine to detect and clear out our pathogens. So if I need to define immunity at this level, it would be something like it's a body's ability to protect yourself from an infectious disease. And when you are immune to a disease, your immune system can fight an infection of it. And we have always been reading it into our books like immunity is either an innate or adaptive. So innate is something which is natural, which a human being is born with. And adaptive is which is something known as acquired immunity as a third line of defense. And it protects an organism for a specific pathogen. And it is further also broken down into active and passive immunity. Active is when we are being exposed to some disease and then our body in response to that forms the antibodies. And passive is when it has been passed on through someone. Like passive immunity is a protection from a disease, and it might be maternal one which has been passed from the mother to the baby, or it might be an artificial one which has been passed from injecting like an anti-serum or something like that. So if we talk about small kids or children, their immunity is like a blank sheet of paper. They have no exposure to pathogens as they do not carry any memory how to fight with these. So usually a child is been exposed to first bacteria in the birth canal. That is why we always say that children delivered by C-section do not have that same exposure as the babies which are been naturally been born. So which can impair the normal development also. This exposure into the birth canal actually triggers the initial development of the immune system. So all babies are born with a weak immunity for the first weeks of life, but normally they are being protected by the antibodies which they receive from the mother's milk. So if we move on to the next slide, so basic thing is that we all, as a parent, as a family, want that our children should be healthy, and even we want that our all family members should be healthy. So what exactly works for the children and what exactly works for the adults is the same. Actually, children time or the this initial days of time is the days which actually builds up the foundation for a good immunity. So when we are going to lay down that foundation, we need to think that the cornerstone of this foundation is good health, and for good health a proper balanced nutrition is required, which can only the boost up our immune system. And while we are doing all these efforts to boost up our immune system, there are various factors also which can actually affect our immunity. The common things are the stress, apart from the nutritional status, genetics and immunity, personal hygiene, sleep, age, gender. All these factors, apart from the nutritional status, can also affect immunity. So when my topic is going to focus basically on the nutritional status, but we should be aware of all the other factors also which can actually hamper our immunity. These are the key indicators you can see on the screen, which actually hampers for the low immunity, especially in children. If they are being exposed to frequent cold or cough, if they are being having frequently infections, they have the delayed wound healings, they are underworked, or that is the malnourishment, or they are suffering from nutritional deficiencies. That means they are not having the balanced amount of right type of nutrition which they are required as per their age. So when we need to boost up the children's immunity before birth, we start expecting from the mother's health. We need to build up the mother health and immunity because it has a direct impact on the health and immunity of our developing baby. So to support the immune system, the healthy mom should have a prioritizing good balanced nutrition consisting of all the various food groups, and having an exercise also, de-stressing, and plenty of sleep with good amount of fluid intake. Everything has to be taken in moderation as per the requirement to boost up the immunity right from before the time of the birth. Then we all know that gut is not separate from the immune system. In fact, it works have a very important role while we talk about our building up of immune system, especially in the children. Approximately 70% of the immune system in our GI tract, where trillions of microscopic organisms are there, the balance of good bacteria in the gut is a very important component. Then we come on to the third part, that is, I think if we need to go back to the previous slide, yes. Even the skin to skin contacts of the baby helps to building up the immunity. While this is known as kangaroo care and is the first few days of the baby where when the baby has been born, it helps to transfer the diverse microbes to enhance the newborn immunity. So this is at the time before birth and immediately after birth. So even in the birth canal, if it is a natural birth, the baby is exposed to good microbes, which actually helps him to build up the immunity. Then probiotics, which pass from the mother to the baby in the womb. Baby's breast milk also contains probiotics, which are being passed on the baby during the breastfeeding. And the protein probiotic rich foods are also available, which can strengthen the immune system of the mother also, as well as the baby. Then we have always heard about the breast milk, the initial days breast milk, the colostrum, which we call the yellow milk. That's actually the gold standard if we talk about for the immune strengthening system for the baby for the first months of life. That is very, very important. We need to actually educate the mothers also, as well as the family members, for carrying this tradition out to give colostrum to the newborn babies, because it helps them to protect, to build up all the immunity level in the initial time period, because this colostrum actually consists of the rich antibodies known as immunoglobulins, which are being passed from the mother to the child. And they are also rich in this human milk is also rich into oligosaccharides, HMOs, which are the special probiotics that help feed the good bacteria in the baby's gut to support the GI health and develop the immune system. So how important the breast milk is right from the time before birth and after birth, the way mother plays an important role in boosting up the immune system of a child. Then coming on to the next important point, apart from the nutrition that we are talking about, along with that, sleep also plays a very important into the supporting the immune system and strengthening the body against defenses. Next, when we move on, that by the age of 3, a child's immune system becomes stable. So, because it's a first year of life, which is a critical window for immune development. So, by the age of 3, the system will be much more mature, and normally the child would be eating the food which is being taken up by an adult only. So, and also the child has been exposed to various types of different activities, illnesses. So all these course of antibiotics also, and then vaccinations has been also been a part to this. So actually all these together helps into increasing the health of the gut bacteria and building up the immune system. So childhood nutrition, if been taken care, it actually nourishes the complete developing system. We all are aware of that the children require high calorie diet during this initial phase, because that's a rapid growing phase. But it would be very wrong if we talk about giving them food which is actually more rich into carbohydrates, simple sugars, and high fat. This is sometimes I have always been hearing कि बच्चा है इसको आप कुछ भी खिलाएंगे, even high calorie होगा, high sugary food होगा, then also the kid will actually burn out all the calories. But this is not the fact. They will burn out the calories, they will use those calories because that's a growing stage been going on. But if you actually feed your child more of these simple starches and simple sugars, high fatty foods into the this initial time period, these are actually going to make him more obese in the later. It's going to help into it hamper the foundation of the child in later years also. They might become obese also with these kinds of food being taken in the initial time period. They are more exposed to the non-communicable diseases like diabetes, cardiac diseases, hypertension, and n number of diseases which we have been seeing nowadays that people are been suffering from. So it's always about, if we think about the childhood nutrition to build up an immune system, then it has to be proper balanced nutrition, including whole grains, fruits, vegetables, everything. So it is not one single thing which is going to build up. They are going to which is going to build up or strengthen the infant immune system. It is going to have a balanced diet. So now we come on, I will introduce you to the role of the macro and the micronutrients and the antioxidants and the flavonoids. So our macronutrients are of 3 types: the carbohydrates, fats, and the proteins. So if we talk about carbohydrates, we all know they are the immediate source of energy and the primary source of energy, and they actually have an important action, that is the protein sparing action. They spare the protein for their own activity, if we are taking appropriate amount of carbohydrates. And the dietary fibers, which are a form of carbohydrates, they help to maintain the optimal GI tract function and lowers the risk for diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. Fats, we are aware of what are fats. They are the stored source of the stored energy. They protect our internal organs also, helps in insulation. They help into carrying the fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, K, and provide all essential fatty acids. Then help in, they are the part of various cell membranes and hormones and mediators. Then coming on to the third and the most important macronutrients from the point of immunity, if we talk about, they are the building blocks of every organ system. They are the part of cell membranes, enzymes, hormones, antibodies, and maintain the acid base. So role of micronutrients. Along with the macro, we have the micronutrients, which are basically divided into vitamins and minerals. We have two different types of vitamins. We all know about it, the water soluble vitamins and the fat soluble vitamins. The water soluble vitamins, we are having B complex and C, and throughout this time we have realized that how these play an important role in the form of supporting immune system, especially the vitamin C, which is an antioxidant required for building up a good immune system, building up the good immunity. And fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin D, E, and K, which are also being help in building up the immune system. They are all vitamin E is an antioxidant, vitamin K is used for the blood clotting, and the minerals, the second important micronutrients, which are minerals, the calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium. These are a little required into more amount, and they all are actually playing as either as a cofactor or some kind of a neuromuscular transmission or enzyme function or hormonal function. Then we have trace elements in the micronutrients like iron, magnesium, copper, zinc, and they actually are required in very smaller amounts but play a very crucial role if we talk about immunity. There are many others also which help into building up the trace elements, but these are certain important ones which actually helps into immune function, wound healing, and tissue growth and repair. And then the role of the antioxidants and the flavonoids. Next, please. Sorry, the previous slides, the antioxidants and the flavonoids. Yes. So the antioxidants, which we are being talking about, Dr. Vinti has explained about the role of the antioxidants. They are the free radicals in the body and they protect and promote the functioning of the immune system. And the phytochemicals, which are the coloring and the flavoring of the plant-based, like ma'am has shown tomatoes and other colored fruits and vegetables, which are rich sources for flavonoids, anthocyanins, carotenoids, and these are having all anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. They all build up into a good immune system. So together, all these micronutrients, macronutrients, antioxidants, phytochemicals have to be part of our balanced nutrition when we are talking about the immunity. Immunity is something which is not we are going to easily grasp of, but it is going to be a period of kind of weeks or months where we need to build it up. The people, I think, as ma'am has rightly even shared the portions of the ways we have to consume these food stuff, it is only the moderation of for all these things and the appropriate requirement of the macronutrient as per our age. We need to consume them to have a good effect of these onto our immune system. There have been several studies which shows that if these small micronutrients are being deficient into disease into our diet, they tend to show the reduction in the immune response. I have just summarized few of them into a table. Like if we are being deficient of vitamin C, we have decreased resistance to infection, we have impaired proliferation of the T cells. If we have lower down intake of B6, it actually delays the lymphocyte responsiveness and the antibody production. If we have lower amount of folic acid, then impaired cell-mediated immunity, delayed antibody response. If we have lower vitamin A, we have loss of mucosal epithelial barrier. We have, if less of vitamin E is and the T cell mediated immunity and causes increased oxidative damage in the immune cell membranes. Vitamin D also plays an important role, and if it has been lacking, then antibacterial peptides depletion are a cause of less of vitamin D intake in the body. And vitamin D is something which we are almost like 90% of our people are being lacking in. We are not being, and we all know it is known as sunshine vitamin, and the major source for vitamin D is sunshine. So we need to have a good amount of vitamin D into our daily lifestyle. Zinc, a trace element, as I have initially discussed, it is very required into very smaller amount into our diet. But if lacking, then it can impair the T cell development, decrease the resistance to infection, even delays wound healing also. And if we are having less of these magnesium, selenium, trace elements, they impair the cellular and the humoral immunity, and they increase the oxidative damage in the immune cell membrane. So you can see that how these small amount of vitamins and minerals which are required in small amounts by our body deficiency can lead to such a bad impact onto our immunity. So together, all these micronutrients have to have been a part to boost up our immune system. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I think I was muted.
Ma'am, you are not
Yeah, I was muted by someone. Now I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was muted by someone I am not aware of. Please shift it to the next slide. Can I request for the next slide?
Yes, ma'am, please.
We are doing. Yes, sir.
ये मुझे लगता है पता नहीं उसी की लाइन है जिसने बनाई होगी। एक समय ऐसा था फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में, उसके पीछे पीछे थी सारी दुनिया, लेकिन एक समय उसने फिर ऐसा भी देखा कि वो फिल्म नहीं, इसलिए उसने कहा कि
I'm unable to change my slide. Can you please change the slide?
Ma'am, changing. Just a minute. Ma'am, this is the slide.
No, next slide. After this.
Ma'am, this one, the previous one.
No, we need to, I think, we need to move back right from the carbohydrates.
Okay. Move back.
I think it was not visible to me, so I couldn't.
Good nutrition promotes immunity. The role of carbohydrates.
The first, yes, the carbohydrates.
Is it visible to you now?
No, it's for me it is omega ALA which has been coming on.
Just a minute, ma'am. We are starting again.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. So we start on with our macronutrients a little bit in detail about that how they help into boosting our immunity and how much we need to take and what kind of carbohydrate we need to consume to have a good impact onto our immune system. So we all know the carbohydrates, they are the immediate source for energy for us. And glucose provides the energy requirement for all components of the immune system, maybe it be lymphocytes, maybe neutrophils, or other immune cells. So, stable blood glucose level actually reduces the body's stress response and moderates undesirable mobilization of immune cells. That means that we need to have an appropriate amount or consumption of carbohydrates into our diet, and because they actually helps the body to cut down onto the stress response to fight against any kind of infection. And we all know that carbohydrates, if we are from the Indian background, they form a bulk of the Indian diet. And on an average, one should consume 1 to 3 servings of carbohydrates in each meal, a total of 4 to 5 servings in a day. That is what our food pyramid taught us. Complex carbohydrates, we always say that 50% of the carbohydrates should be coming from the complex carbohydrates, which consist of whole wheat flours, some millets, some red or brown rice, millets like bajra, nachni, jowar, and fruits and vegetables, which are the powerhouse for the micronutrient as well as the fiber, which improves the gut health and the immunity. Please do cut down on the intake of the refined carbohydrates, and we need to limit also the intakes of the sweetened beverages, the carbonated drinks, and maida and the bakery items, because it actually helps into lowering down the immunity. Higher these kinds of things into our diet, more lower is going to be your immunity. So have an appropriate amount of these. It is not that the sweets have been completely inhibited, but we need to have a very smaller amount of it as per our calorie requirement included into our daily diet. Next is the next slide, please. Proteins. So if I talk about today's scenario, then in case of the Indian diet, protein is something which is a little lesser on the, maybe some kinds of myths attached to it, or maybe most of us are not been giving that importance. But during the COVID time, we have realized actually what exactly the role of proteins in building up our immunity is. They are very, very crucial, even for our the activation of T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, macrophages, natural killer cells, for production of antibodies, and the lymphocyte proliferation, gene expression. The protein plays the most important role. All our antibodies are form of proteins. Protein is something which, if missing in the diet, we are always going to have a lower immunity. That is have to be, but we need to be sure about it. Carbohydrates are required so that we are able to maintain our general energy practice of the body, and proteins are spared for this important role. If we are not taking enough carbohydrate required into our diet, then proteins will be broken down for the energy purpose also, which we never want to. Even the arginine, glutamine, cysteine, they are actually the precursors for beneficial and kickstarting the deficient immune system. So these essential amino acids, which are becoming like more important, they're the non-essential but become essential during the time of some kind of infection if the body has been invaded with. And it is very important to have consume at least 1 serving of protein-rich food into all our 2 to 3 important major meals, which is not happening most of the time. Most of the time, either like the protein source is only in the breakfast or only in the dinner time, but we never give importance to, as we give importance to carbohydrates and fats, in same kind of importance to the protein is being required. And if you are a vegetarian, then also it is not difficult to include the protein content which is required by the body into our diet, because we have ample amount of vegetarian sources. All our dals and legumes are good sources for proteins, and then combining with the milk and milk products, which is another source for the vegetarian source of protein, and our handful of nuts, which is again giving us good quality of proteins into our diet. So if we talk about proteins from the pulses, per 100 gram, they approximately give around 21 grams of protein. So per serving of 30 grams, we get around 6 to 7 gram of protein, exactly 6.3 gram, 1 katori dal, which gives us. And if in case you are a non-vegetarian, then you can have the lean meat, chicken breast, chicken drumsticks without bone, and per protein per 100 gram is around 20 grams. And in case if we talk about the fish, but 100 gram is 20 gram proteins in the fish. And if we are taking egg, approximately one serving of egg is around 6.5 grams. In 100 grams, it is 13.4. So if we have having 2 or 3 servings of dal into our diet, and 1 to 2 servings of milk and milk products into our diet, and handful of nuts, we can easily reach to the required intake of the protein into our diet. So never think that in case if you are a vegetarian, you cannot reach to the protein content. Next is the fat. Yes, as we have been talking about the carbohydrates, as we have been talking about the proteins, we need to talk about the fats also, which are the calorie dense macronutrients. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Amount of, I think that we missed out one slide previous to this. Yeah, one slide before this. The role of fats.
This one is the current role of fats, ma'am.
Okay, you share it. I'll speak it. It's okay. You share the next slide. So when we were next slide, please. The ALA one.
Slide is visible to you?
No, it is not visible to me. I've been able to see only the protein ones.
We have presented the role of fats.
But it is not visible to me. I think some issue is there.
Just a minute, ma'am. We are changing.
It's fine. I can go through it also. If you can, if it is visible to you, then I can do it.
We're sharing it again, ma'am.
Yeah, that is this. So talking about the role of fats in building up the immunity, we need to realize the total fat intake and ratios of the various fatty acids which influence the immune system. So low fat reduces, there have been scientific evidences that low fat reduces the illnesses by maintaining the normal immune response, and unsaturated fat increases the T helper cell activity, while the saturated fat reduces our immune response. Should I carry on?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Now is it visible to you, ma'am?
Yes, it is visible. Thank you. So our bodies need only certain amount of fat each day. Any extra fat which has been consumed is stored in the fat tissue and contributes to our weight gain. And we need to realize that if it is contributing to our weight gain, more the weight, lesser will be the immunity. So we need to be very cautious while we are consuming the sources of fat into our diet. We need to maintain an ideal ratio of saturated fatty acid, monounsaturated fatty acid, and polyunsaturated fatty acid in the ratio of 1:1 and 3:1. So moderate consumption of MUFA-rich fats helps down to reduce our total cholesterol also, and is beneficial in the management of various diseases also. So include MUFA-rich oils, groundnut oil, rice bran, canola, which have been considered for healthy of cooking. And one very important message, next slide please, which has been already been shared by Dr. Bingi also, that while we talk about fats, we need to always keep on rotating them, keep on changing them, because with no one single oil, we can have the good ratio of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid into our diet. So recommendation of amount of oil and fat intake is 500 ml per person per month, and this contributes to around 3 teaspoons, that is 15 ml of oil per day per person, and 1 teaspoon of ghee per day per person if not suffering from any other comorbidity. This is, always remember what I have shared this thing. 3 teaspoons, and 1 teaspoon of desi ghee is for those people who are not suffering from any comorbidities and they are not excessively overweight also, and they have been maintaining the normal daily core activities for the normal adult I'm talking about. So this is the oil which we are talking for the visible form. There is not a hidden oil also, like when we have been eating those nuts and oil seeds and using groundnuts or peanuts or eating coconut. So we have the invisible fat also being going inside our body from the milk products also. It may be that also when we have been including it. So this is the visible fat requirement which I have shared. Omega-3 fatty acids are the essential fats that the body can't make them and have to have from the food. So we should always include omega-3 rich foods into our diet. That is from the vegetable oil, the nuts, especially the walnuts, flax seeds, जिनको हम अलसी कहते हैं या अलसी का oil, and leafy vegetables. ALA is found in vegetable oils and nuts. So nuts again, walnuts and flaxseed oil or flax seeds we can consume into our diet. And human body generally uses ALA for energy, and conversion of into EPA and DHA is very limited. So we need to have the sources for EPA and DHA from outside, not from the ALA, because our body does not contribute much into it. EPA, which is also known as eicosapentaenoic acid, and docosahexaphenoic acid for DHA, they come mainly from the fish. So sometimes they are also called marine omega-3s, or we can have through some kind of supplementation, dietary nutraceuticals which are being available, we can consume through them also. So they maintain actually the immune barriers of the skin and mucus. They are the support for the micronutrients, and they regulate the cell-mediated and innate immunity especially. And they are very, very crucial to the differentiation and development of Th1 and Th2 lymphocyte subsets. Next slide, please. We will be starting on, after this macronutrients, the role of the micronutrients, which we have discussed about the vitamins. I will go specifically with each vitamin, what important role they are going to play while we talk about building up the immunity. Next slide. Good nutrition promotes the role of the vitamin A. So I'm going to talk about the role of vitamin A, how it helps into building up a good immunity. It actually plays an important role in humoral antibody response and cell-mediated immunity. I'm not able to see the vitamin A slide. Can you please share it again? Thank you. So vitamin A, as I was saying, that plays an important role in humoral antibody response and cell-mediated immunity. And vitamin A is involved in the development of the immune system and plays regulatory roles into the cellular immune response. So we need to have it into our diet in appropriate amount to carry on with this kind of building up of the immune system. The normal requirement for RD in case of adult is 600 micrograms of retinol and 4800 microgram of beta carotene. And similar is for the children for 7 to 17 years. And in case the younger children from 1 to 6 years, we require 400 milligrams of retinol and 3200 milligrams of beta carotene. And I have also shared some few important sources of vitamin A, like carrot, pumpkin, green leafy vegetables, chicken, and all, from which we are able to take the vitamin A into our diet. Second important vitamin is vitamin E, which is a potent antioxidant and helps to moderate the host immune system functions, especially in elderly populations. जितने हमारे बड़े बुजुर्ग लोग हैं, उनके केस में vitamin E plays a very important role. Even the vitamin C deficiency results in impaired immunity and higher susceptibility to infections, but vitamin E is a powerful fat-soluble antioxidant. And it is higher concentration in immune cells than in the blood cells if we talk about vitamin E. So RDA for vitamin D is just 7.5 to 10 milligrams, required in very small amount in the form of alpha tocopherol per day. And we have various sources into our diet. If we are consuming just half a teaspoon of a mixture of seeds, which consists of sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds, and safflower seeds. So we are able to reach to the requirement of vitamin E into our diet. Third important vitamin which we need to talk about from the immunity role is vitamin D, which is an ancient pro-survival molecule with immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory potentials. And it is very, very crucial wherein we talk about inflammatory response to several levels. It regulates differentiation of monocytes to macrophages. And the people who have actually suffered from COVID also, we must have seen that these kinds of vitamins supplementation along with the normal medication has played an important role, and all the patients from COVID-19 or the people who were trying to maintain their immunity level, they were having intake of these vitamins into their diet, either as supplementation or from the different sources of diet. So vitamin D, it plays a major role in synchronizing the calcium oscillatory signaling also to allow the cell apoptosis during the stress response. RD is just 400 IU per day. And one cooked the sources, apart from there are the natural sources also. We have some types of fishes which are the good sources for the egg yolk is also a good source, or sometimes the vitamin D is being fortified products are also available apart from the sunlight, which can give us a good amount of vitamin D in the diet. Then we come to the vitamin C, the most important part when we are being, and I think everyone has been consuming those vitamin C chewable tablets also throughout this last 1.5 years to build up the immunity or to fight against this deadly virus. And vitamin C, we've been taught from ancestrals that it contributes to the immune defense by supporting the various cellular functions. It actually deficiency results in the impaired immunity and susceptibility to infections. And even for the common cold and cough, vitamin C plays a very, very important role. And all our different fruits like amla, guava, capsicum, orange, raw mango, all these are lemon juice. They're the great sources for vitamin C. It's a water-soluble vitamin, and we just require 40 milligram per day. That is the RDA, and we can easily reach by consuming any of these products. Next, from vitamin C, we come on to our next important vitamin, that is the B6. B6 is an important, please next slide please. So B6 is required for maintenance of the normal homocysteine levels. And when the raised homocysteine level is a risk factor for the cardiovascular diseases, we need to maintain it. And vitamin B6 is comprised of 3 forms: pyridoxine, pyridoxal, and pyridoxamine. All these forms are converted to coenzyme, which actually is involved into more enzyme reactions and building up our immune system. There are various studies which suggest that B6 deficiency actually impacts both the humoral and the cell-mediated immune response. So we need to have, though very required into smaller amount, just 2 milligrams per day. That is the requirement. And in case of the children, it's just 1.6 to 2 milligram per day, which is required. And from 1 cup of chickpeas, that is the safed chana, and 3 medium-sized potatoes, we can have the 50% of the daily requirements of B6. And I have also mentioned various other nuts and vegetables, which are the great sources, and like bananas and the starchy vegetables are the great sources for the vitamin B6 and can be easily found in the food. So it's a rare chance that if we are not consuming any of these things into our diet, then only we will be suffering from the deficiency, otherwise not. Vitamin B12. We all know that it is a very important component of red blood cell, and deficiency can lead to anemia also, and it has a great impact onto our nervous system. But it also plays a very important role if we talk about immunity. Together with the folic acid, it actually play a healthy functioning of the immune system. So if it has been deficiency, then our immune system has been impacted. Just 1 milligram per day is the RDA for B12, and there are various sources for it, especially non-vegetarian. In case of vegetarian, we need to go for some fortified food products to choose for the B12, or otherwise a nutrition supplement we need to opt for it. One egg actually provides the 25% of our daily needs when we need to have B12 into our diet. Then we move on to our next micronutrients, that is the minerals. And I have picked up some specific micronutrients like zinc, selenium, copper, boron, which actually plays a very important role into building up the immunity. So I've talked about zinc into my slide, which is actually very crucial for normal development and function of immune cells. And studies have shown that deficiency of zinc is associated with loss of immune dysfunction. So zinc is actually known as the gatekeeper of immunity. It regulates the intracellular signaling pathways in both innate and adaptive immune cells. So very very small amount we report around 12 milligrams for males and 10 milligrams for females. And in case of children, it varies from 9 to 12 milligram a day. We have ample sources into our diet to consume these amount of zinc into our diet from the cereals, from the oats, from dals and pulses, from the soybean, from the garden recipes, from the nuts and oil seeds, and case non-vegetarian if we are, then the chicken, fish are the big sources of zinc. So we need to consume zinc at appropriate amount too, because actually the inadequate can trigger the apoptosis, and it can actually and it is a great good antioxidant that helps to maintain the skin and mucosal membrane integrity also. So mixing an appropriate amount into the diet from all these sources. Next important micronutrient which I have included into my presentation are selenium, copper and boron. Next slide please. Selenium plays a very, very important role as far as the oxidative stress has been talked about and which has been related in the body. And the deficiency of selenium actually can cause or can lead us to various viral infection also. So if we are incorporating selenium into our diet, it actually helps into a redox signaling and antioxidant function, helps into both innate and acquired immunity. Same as with the copper also required. It actually is a natural plays an important role for T cell proliferation and natural killer cell activity. Boron also similarly is very important requirement for lymphocyte proliferation and increased release of cytokines in case of infection. Required into very smaller amount, 40 micrograms per day is the requirement for selenium and 1.7 milligram for copper. And there are various sources of selenium like eggs, dal, chana dal, tur dal, whole wheat flour, the black chana, the moong dal, which from where in the fish and the chicken also from where we can consume actually these small important nutrients. Next slide please. So if we need to talk about nutrition as a setup for building up the immunity, it is not something which is one single thing. There are various superfoods, as we have seen into our previous slides also by Dr. Indy. So she has also shared the various superfoods. So variety is the only magical bullet, I would say. There is no one single superfood or foods which can boost up our immunity or prevent or treat or cure infection. We need to have a balance. This is a plate by Anand which shows that we need to consume all the food groups into an appropriate amount if we actually need to build up our immunity. The amount and the quality of the dietary fat also influences the amount of dietary fat, amount and the quality of the carbohydrates also impact our immune function, and the amount and the quality of the proteins also impact onto our immune system. So we need to have a balance of this. Along with the nutrition, if we not talk about the water, then I think my message would be an incomplete one. So fluids or water, next slide please, plays a very important role if we are talking to maintain the hydration. And in case of during viral infection where the need for these fluids has always been increased, always drink good, plain boiled, cooled, warm water. Consumption should be minimum 2.5 to 3 liters, which can be adjusted according to the individual requirement also. But it has to be taken as a plain water, not as carbonated or sweetened or sugary. But other good options like coconut water, nimbu pani, kokum sharbat, they are good to hydrate ourselves, especially during the summertime. Then, though certain things which I also want to talk about when we are talking about nutrition, that there are various antivirals into our kitchen where we have been talking about the proteins, carbohydrate, fats, vitamins and minerals. These antivirals are those things which are actually been present as ingredients to our kitchen. So when we are aware of that no one single food is a superfood, we need to incorporate these also because these are the natural ingredients which are available and be used also into our normal daily cooking part. Over a period of time, we have been consuming them also. Ginger, garlic. Ginger is rich into gingerol. Garlic is rich into allicin. Turmeric is rich into curcumin. Tulsi, which is rich into eugenol. Neem is rich into azardiachine, lemongrass which is rich into tetrapyrazine, and these all things have been discussed in our previous speaker also. Turmeric actually dosage is very less if we need to talk about active ingredient contents which we need to consume. We need to just consume less than 2 grams of per day to have a good impact of antioxidant contents from it. Ginger we just required 1 to 2 inches to be consumed on a daily basis. Garlic also 2 to 3 pods a day. Tulsi also 10 to 15 leaves a day. Cinnamon also just half a scale piece or 2 grams of day we need to consume to have a good impact of these or beneficial effect of this into our health system. So then we have the various nuts and the oil seeds also, which also gives good amount of vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc and magnesium. So they are actually nutrient dense foodstuffs which we need to include into our daily diet. So next slide please. So my next slide shows the nutrition density, the nutrient density of various nuts and oil seeds. While we have been consuming almonds, we have been consuming till, sunflower seeds, walnuts, pistachios, flax seeds. The details have been discussed by ma'am, so I'm not going to discuss the detail. But the way they are going to impact on our immune system, that we need to understand. So we don't need to go in excess of any of these things to have a various good impact. एक्स्ट्रा खाने से हमने कोई जल्दी इम्यूनिटी बिल्डअप नहीं कर सकते हैं. दैट इज द वन थिंग विच नीड टू रियलाइज. वी नीड टू हैव देम इन एप्रोप्रिएट अमाउंट्स ओनली. एक्सेस कैन डैमेज अस, इट कैन हार्म अस, so we'll not be able to take the healthy benefits of us. Next slide please. We need to go to the general guidelines. So till the time the slide has been shown, I will be continuing with my presentation. So the major guidelines which we need to take care is that no single food is a superfood. We need to have all of them into our diet, into various time periods of our life, into our various, even if we are not able to consume on a daily basis also, we need to have a part of these into daily basis to build up a good immune system. Do not fall prey to any of those WhatsApp or media claims that comes on for consumption or application of certain foods that we always fall and pray for, that preventing or treating infections from the respiratory tract infection, but these we do not have any kind of scientific evidence that these foodstuffs which have been promoted on the media, they can actually help us in promoting immune system or not. So these antivirals, these macronutrients and micronutrients of our diet, they have a proper scientific evidence which has shown that if been taken in proper, we can actually build up a healthy immune system for a normal adult and for the kids also. These antioxidant-rich products we can use into our daily cooking in the form of tempering, in the form of marination, or just add them into our teas or milk preparations to have the good benefit of these things. Are you going to show my slides?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to go to the conclusion slide before I end.
There is some technical problem. Just a minute, please.
Okay. I'll wait for it. So my take-home message slide will be just visible. I would just go through that what actually I want to convey through my presentation is that we all need to adopt a healthy lifestyle. We should get sufficient sleep, we should stay hydrated, we should quit smoking and taking off alcohol into excessive amounts, we should meditate, we should have some exercise routine. As recommended by WHO, we need to have an exercise minimum of 30 minutes or 7,000 steps on a daily basis to have a good lifestyle, which can actually boost up our immune system. And then when we are talking about our nutrition part, we need to have diversity or variety, which is going to act as a magical bullet for us. So we need to have the complete Indian platter, which has been shown by NI that we need to consume all the different food groups into our diet, which includes the proteins, the fats, the carbohydrates, the vitamins, the minerals, and various foods which are rich into antioxidants and flavonoids into our diet, which can actually help into building up our immune system. We should be sure enough to get all those important vitamins like A, C, E, D, which I have discussed. We should always be talking about, and as I have spoken about the zinc, magnesium, selenium. So we should actually give importance that we are consuming those foods into our diet, which are rich sources for these micronutrients. Good knowledge of protein-rich food, apart from the quantity, good quality of proteins to be included into our diet. So we need to give importance that protein need to be a part of. In fact, I would say that needs to be kept on the priority basis, because we all know we are not going to leave our carbs and fats into our diet, but protein is something which we sometimes miss out. Please do not miss them out into our diet. They're very, very important. डेली डाइट में अगर आप वेट कॉन्शियस भी हैं, obese भी हैं, diabetic भी हैं, do not go with any kind of myth which has been prevailing that this is intake of milk and milk products will make you obese, or it's not good for diabetes or cardiovascular disease. We have always an alternative food stuff being available to us which we can include into our diet. So include proteins into our diet, and the Indian herbs and spices which we have talked about. All the antivirals we are including. So include them. They are the power antiviral, but do not go excessive with them. As ma'am was telling that 1 glass of haldi-wala milk is sufficient. Please do not drink twice or thrice in a day. And especially during the summer season where the temperature is so high, it can have an altered effect on the liver. Please do not go on drinking kadas into your meal plan. It will not help in building up the immunity. Immunity takes time, so we need to be first educated about it, that how we need to build up the immunity. What are the important clue points in case when we are talking about the balanced nutrition? What are the various sources for those important nutrients, the macro and the micro, to be included into our diet? Then only we can help in building up the immunity. So please say no to Dr. Google. Do not, if you are being educating someone, then you need to be thorough with what kind of scientific reference you are having, with the support of that whatever you are sharing, that is actually having an evidence of building up the immune system. So we should I conclude my presentation, Dr. Ranju? Because I'm not able to see it.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, it's visible. So I'd like to conclude my presentation over say that and we need to ensure that we are safe and healthy, and let this advice for healthier you for now and for later year. It is not for temporary that we are going into the COVID time that we need to eat a balanced nutrition diet or a balanced diet and lots of antivirals. It is for us for now as well as for the later. And this is within our reach. Must realize that something which is not within our reach, we cannot even force anyone, but this is something which is within our reach, that we can eat this. Let the food we eat be wisely chosen, be cooked properly, and serve as preventive and immunity booster. And healthy keeping habits, they go a long way ensuring a healthy lifestyle, and is a lifetime commitment with no shortcuts. We cannot build up immunity into a very small period of time. Small steps, take them into the right direction, that will make you today healthy, will make the pain for tomorrow healthier. Along with the balanced diet, all these adequate amount of macronutrients. Don't go excessive with any of the nutrients. That is very, very important. Incorporate exercise, have a good sleep, and manage stress also to stay active and healthy. Always remember, your health is in your hands. So plan your diet and lifestyle in such a way that it supports your body in building up your immunity. So I will end with my presentation that let not despair take over. Let's strive towards the goal. and however distant it may seem, we can really fight it. I would like to thank you, the organizers, once again for this wonderful platform they have given to me. And I'm grateful for and congratulate all the complete organizing team of IB College and Principal Sir Dr. Ranju, Dr. Seema Ma'am for holding this, conducting this important conference, which is a need for the hour. And I actually congratulate them for looking forward when I was hearing Dr. Vinti's uh, points. She has shared that how the college has been functioning throughout this deadly time period of COVID. So it was hats off to all the team members who have been doing lots of efforts in raising up the morale of the students as well as the community. So congratulations. I wish you a successful conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing wonderful information. How much important role of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats plays in our daily life, and about the multivitamins and their different sources. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks for that.
Hello, Dr. Ranju.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think I should give remarks about Dr. Shilpa Chattopadhyay Thakur's presentation right now, and then we can move
Okay,
further.
okay, ma'am. You can continue.
So, heartiest congratulations, Dr. Shilpa Chattopadhyay Thakur. You have made an
Thank you so much.
incredible presentation, highly informative, elaborate, and explicably explained. Types of immunity, natural and adaptive immunity, humoral and cell-mediated immunity, macronutrients so well explained, carbohydrates, simple, complex, proteins, especially inclusion of proteins in both vegetarian and non-vegetarian diets, fats and their role in immunity, along with the recommended amounts. You have also talked about EPA and DHA, micronutrients, water and fluids, antivirals available in kitchen. Thank you so very much, and heartiest congratulations for a wonderful presentation. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm really gratitude, full of gratitude and thanks towards you. Thank you so much.
all the best.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
You can continue, Dr. Ranju.
Thanks, ma'am. Now I welcome Dr. Sunny Khajuria. He is BA MSMD, Advanced Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety Management. 9 years of experience as general physician in hospitals, industries, and factories. He is ICLS and BLS certified American Heart Association. Currently working as research medical officer with ICMR and posted in PGIMER, Chandigarh, Obesity and Gynecologist Department. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Chief Guest and keynote speakers. It's really good to be here. Shall we start with the presentation?
Yes.
So, little bit about myself. As of now, I'm working in PGI in the gynae department as a research medical officer. We're doing a research project on PCOD. So, it's a matter for some other time. So, today I'm here to give you a presentation. मैं बहुत ही सरल और स्पष्ट शब्दों में ये बताने के प्रयास करूंगा इस प्रेजेंटेशन के थ्रू कि हम किस प्रकार से खुद को बचा सकते हैं फ्रॉम द रिस्क ऑफ कोविड इन्फेक्शन.
The slides are visible to you.
मैं अपने भी हाथ खोल लेता हूँ ताकि थोड़ी दिक्कत ना हो, स्पीड अप सब कुछ हो जाए. Because already we are in that lunch break time, so I don't want people to wait much. Okay, so we'll start with the introduction first. There are several practical ways to keep ourselves healthy and free of infection. In the age of COVID-19, this has become especially important given that many traditional infections are becoming multi-drug resistant. So over a period of time, अभी क्या हो रहा है कि जो viruses हैं, bacteria हैं, as you all know कि हमारी medicines same रह रही हैं, उसमें भी R&D हुआ. These pathogens, these are getting mutations और ये drug resistant हो रहे हैं. तो इसके कारण एक बहुत बड़ा हमारे ऊपर रिस्क बना हुआ है, जितने भी हमारे पब्लिक हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, ऑफिशियल्स हैं, कि एपिडेमिक या फिर पैंडेमिक. Second point, I've written that there are even reports about superbugs that have become resistant to all traditional antibiotics. आपने सुना ही होगा, पढ़ा ही होगा, एंटीबायोटिक रेजिस्टेंट ट्यूबरकुलोसिस एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. इस प्रकार से काफ़ी जो पैथोजेंस हैं वो बिकॉज ऑफ म्यूटेशंस एंड ऑल द जेनेटिक चेंजेस वो रेजिस्टेंट हो गए हैं. सो एज ऑफ द सिनेरियो जो बेस्ट चीज़ हम कर सकते हैं वो यही है कि हम डिजीज़ को या फिर कोविड-19 जैसा कि स्पेसिफिकली इस प्रेजेंटेशन में है कि हम उससे दूर रहें ताकि वो हमें इन्फेक्शन हो ही ना और हम उससे बचे रहें. So next point, the next slide. There is one more infection with the name MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. ये लगभग सेम ही इसके सिम्टम्स रहते हैं जस्ट लाइक कोविड. इसमें acute respiratory distress रहता है. And as of now, the scientists and the health professionals are so much concerned that it can also cause a bigger level pandemic, much bigger than the COVID-19. So scenarios are not that much of promising as of now so far as the diseases are concerned, but still we can manage if we properly follow the preventive practices. So our presentation mein, I'm just beginning with that. The first point and slide number 4, that is wear a face mask. काफ़ी कॉमन है एज ऑफ नो. पिछले एक साल में सरकारों ने, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने काफ़ी इस चीज़ के ऊपर फोकस किया है दैट यू शुड वेयर ए मास्क. अब मास्क शुड बी प्रॉपरली वर्न. सही तरीके से अगर आप मास्क लगाएंगे तभी ही उसका बेनिफिट रहेगा. जैसे इस पिक्चर में आप देख सकते हैं 3 पिक्चर्स आर देयर, लाइक द वन दैट इज कवरिंग कंप्लीट ऑफ द नोज एंड दिस माउथ. दिस इज द एग्जैक्ट वे एंड स्पेसिफिक वे टू वेयर द मास्क. इससे खुद का भी बचाव होगा और दूसरे व्यक्ति का भी होगा. इट्स एक्सप्लेन फर्दर इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. Face masks became a part of people's everyday life. With the onset of COVID-19 pandemic, one of the benefit of the practice is that it not only helps slow down the spread of coronavirus, even any virus जो कि droplet infection से फैलती है. मतलब any infection or any disease जिसमें जो source of spread होता है वो droplet infection. Droplet means if I'm sitting here, I'm talking, so when I talk with the air that I'm expiring, जो सैलिवा के छोटे छोटे कण हवा में विस्तृत हो रहे हैं, that are the droplets. If I'm suffering from any disease, say COVID-19, and I'm not wearing a mask, and if somebody is in vicinity of me, say around 6 feet or something, तो वो easily उसको inhale करके over a period of time इसको develop कर सकता है. So it's very important that we should wear the mask. Next, it says that face masks not only help you avoid getting an infectious respiratory disease, but prevent you from infecting others. Yeah, for sure. If I'm suppose infected with COVID-19, so in order to minimize, me being a vector of the disease, मैं अगर मास्क का इस्तेमाल करूँगा तो जब मैं बात करूँगा तो मिनिमम स्प्रेड ऑफ इन्फेक्शन होगा. तो दैट वे आई कैन कंट्रोल दैट, आई कैन ब्रेक दैट चेन ऑफ स्प्रेड ऑफ इन्फेक्शन. Now the thing rises that how to choose the face mask. एक जनरल CDC है, सेंटर ऑफ डिजीज कंट्रोल यूएस, उनकी रिकमेंडेशंस है कि जो मास्क आप पहने वो 2 या ज़्यादा लेयर वाला हो, उसमें से ब्रीथेबल फैब्रिक का हो, आराम से आप सांस ले सकें. कम्प्लीटली आपने नोज और माउथ को कवर करना है और वो अच्छे तरीके से, जैसे आपके मास्क के ऊपर यहाँ पर पिन्स आती हैं ताकि वो एकदम से उसको पैक कर लें, उस प्रकार से बिल्कुल बीच में होल्स वगैरह या फिर कोई भी ब्रीथेबल स्पेस नहीं होनी चाहिए. So we'll go to the next slide. 6 point. Again, wash your hands. ये एक बहुत ही सिंपल लेकिन बहुत ही इफेक्टिव वे है टू स्प्रेड कंटेन द स्प्रेड ऑफ इन्फेक्शन. क्योंकि जो सबसे कॉमन रूट ऑफ इन्फेक्शन है ह्यूमंस में वो हैंड टू फेस और हैंड टू माउथ है. आप कोई भी ले लीजिए, वायरसेस ले लीजिए, बैक्टीरिया ले लीजिए. सो अनटिल अनलेस हम अपनी हैंड हाइजीन का प्रॉपर ख्याल नहीं रखेंगे, सो विल बिकम एन इजी विक्टिम of COVID-19 or any other infection that spreads like that. So it says that many people do not realize that microbes can live on surfaces anyways from a few minutes to several months, depending on the environment and pathogen type. This means that some viruses and bacteria may be able to persist on surfaces we regularly touch, such as the computer, keyboard, light switch. So हमें एक sort of रूटीन बनानी चाहिए कि जब भी हम अपने हाथ या मुंह को टच करें, बिफोर दैट इट मस्ट बी प्रॉपर्ली क्लीन, आइदर विद सोप वाटर और विद अल्कोहल बेस्ड सैनिटाइजर जो हम आज की डेट में यूज कर रहे हैं. स्लाइड 8. नाउ how to properly wash your hands. So the CDC, that is Center for Disease Control and Prevention, it states that जितना टाइम हमें किसी को हैप्पी बर्थडे विश करने में लगता है around 20 seconds, so that should be that time we should think about that song in our mind and use that time to rub our hands and clean properly with soap and water. So this is just an example कि आपने कम से कम 20 सेकंड के लिए अपने हाथ अच्छे से साफ करने हैं. Then we can think कि then we can think कि हमने अच्छे से अपने हाथ साफ कर लिए and they are properly clean. So the next line states that in the absence of water and soap, alcohol-based hand sanitizer or wipe can be used. And then it states that we should avoid picking our nose, biting our nails, especially if our hands are unwashed. We should teach our kids the same things not to do. Okay. Then comes avoid sharing personal items. So this is again one of the most common and prevalent way of spread of infection. We shouldn't share personal belongings of our colleagues, friends, etc. It says that toothbrushes, towel, razor, handkerchiefs, and nail clippers can all be source of infectious pathogens, including bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. These objects are referred to as fomites, a term used to describe objects or material that are likely to carry infection. So we should avoid sharing any sort of personal items from our colleagues or friends. It is also important to teach our kids not to put toys and objects in their mouth and to avoid doing so yourself, chewing on a pencil or something like that. We have some habits like this, doing this stuff. So we should minimize exposure of our face or our mouth with our hand and with any surface that we are in touch with, which can in future lead to spread of infection. And the 11th one is cover your mouth. It's very important. Suppose if somebody is suffering and having some signs and symptoms of any infection, say COVID-19. So in order to minimize the spread of infection, that I have told earlier as well, that masks are important. So this is very important point. We shouldn't sneeze in open. We shouldn't use our hands for the sneezing. So it states that good hygiene includes not only personal cleanliness but also the age-old practice of covering your mouth whenever you cough or sneeze. That way, again, things goes back to droplet infection. If we'll sneeze in open, the droplet gonna spread to a far distance, and the people in the vicinity will automatically get infected. If we sneeze, in like by the side of our elbow like this, so we are minimizing the distance traveled by the droplets. That way, somehow we are reducing that droplet infection that can be caused because of the virus. It states that the risk is greater with upper respiratory tract infections, in which the viral or bacterial particles mainly resides in the nose and throat. Yeah. But even low respiratory tract infections like tuberculosis can be effectively spread when the person coughs. This stuff. So to prevent the spread of respiratory infection, the CDC recommends that you cover your mouth with your arm sleeve like this whenever you have to sneeze or cough, or the crook of your elbow, rather than using your bare hands. See, if we'll stick with that old habit of sneezing in our hand and then we're utilizing the same hand, doing shake hand and all that stuff, so we are spreading that infection. So we should utilize a tissue paper for the sneezing or cough and then properly dispose of that in order to minimize the spread of infection in this way. Slide 13 states clearly avoid crowds and poorly ventilated spaces. So if somebody is sitting in a closed room and there is one more person in vicinity who has mild symptoms of COVID or any other infection, since the place is not specifically ventilated, the air will be more stagnant over there. So whatever the droplet or whatever the virus that he or she will sneeze will stay in that specific period for a longer time. So we should try to avoid such crowded places. Being in road like restaurant, bars, fitness centers, or movie theaters put you at high risk of COVID-19. Avoid indoor spaces that do not offer fresh air from the outdoors as much as possible. As much as possible, we should try to sit and spend our time in open with proper ventilation for sure. If indoors, bring in fresh air by opening windows and doors if possible. Again, it states the same thing. Slide 15, it states that clean and disinfect. So this is again very important, like I had stated earlier, that viruses and bacteria stay for longer time in different surfaces. So in order to contain the spread of their infection from that surface, we must ensure the proper cleaning and disinfection of the surfaces that we are in our daily use, like tables, doorknobs, phones, keyboards, etc. And the most important, get vaccinated. See, vaccination is very important because once you get vaccinated, the probability of getting that severity of infection, even though if you get exposed, reduces to quite an extent. It's written that your immune system is designed to have a memory of previous infections, enabling a rapid response in the form of antibodies should the pathogen ever return. Vaccinations does more or less the same thing, exposing the body to a weakened or killed form of pathogen. So what's happening as of now, see, any vaccination, what we do, we expose the healthy human being to a less virulent or dead form of the same pathogen जिसके अगेंस्ट हम वो वैक्सीनेशन लगा रहे हैं. So उससे क्या होता है, हमारी बॉडी उसको रिकॉग्नाइज कर लेती है कि दिस इज पैथोजन, दिस इज अ डिजीज कॉजिंग ऑर्गेनिज्म, तो उसके अगेंस्ट एंटीबॉडीज बॉडी में हमारे बन जाती हैं. तो जब एक्चुअल एक्सपोजर होता है, आवर बॉडी ऑलरेडी filled with antibodies, so the severity of symptoms हैं वो कम आते हैं. So vaccination is very important as of now if COVID is concerned or any other infection is concerned. Now then comes good food and habit. Since morning we are stressing this concept that food should be good because the solely immunity of the body depends on what we eat. हमारा आहार विहार कैसा है, हम किस तरह का खाना खाते हैं, that solely determines the immunity content and power of an individual. So there are certain vitamins like vitamin A, E, zinc, proteins already explained in details by the previous speakers. They are very important. So our food must be a balanced diet, a good diet containing all the minerals, vitamins, etc. So that our immunity will be at par. Even though if we get exposed, we'll have that power to handle that disease. Slide 20. This slide states it's by WHO. It states that 3 main factors determine the infection severity, are like how severely or how less probability of yours is there to get infected. First one is location. Like the more you are in open, the more the area will be ventilated, so the less will be the chances of infection. The more you are in contained spaces like gym, bar, etc., so the more chances are there you will get infected with COVID-19. Second one is proximity. How close you stay with the infected patient. So that's why it's generally said that we should always prefer and follow social distancing, keeping a safer distance from each and everybody. And the third and the most important is the time of exposure. Up to what time extent you remain in touch with that patient or anybody who is suspected case of COVID-19. So where you are located, how close you are, and what the time up to which you are in vicinity of that person. These 3 factors will ultimately determine and will be the deciding factors if somebody is supposed to get infected or not. So that's what it covers all of the points that I have put in this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the information. And how can we minimize the risk of infections, and how can we make super choices to avoid COVID infections? Thanks a lot, sir. Now,
Pleasure.
I again welcome Dr. Niti Dawar to present her remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Ranju.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Dr. Sunny Khajuria, for selecting and presenting very important topic of how to reduce the risk of COVID infection. You have very emphatically shown actual and proper use of masks, hand washing techniques, personal care, non-sharing of personal products, disinfection, good hygiene practices and advice for vaccination. Also inclusion of good food habits, stressing upon safer choices will definitely help protect participants, their families, friends and communities. I with my whole heart congratulate the managing committee, Principal Dr. Adegar, Dr. Seema, and whole team of organizers, Dr. Ranju Gandhir, excellent anchor for the webinar, Dr. Shilpa Thakur, Dr. Sunny Khajuria, the presenters, IT cell of the college for wonderful, smooth, successful conduct of inaugural session, IB College Panipat has done applaudable and highly appreciable exemplary work during these difficult times and are untiringly trying to help place this tumultuous and chaotic time into a larger context and bring greater understanding of how are we to think about and live amidst this new normal. I wish the valedictory session great success. Thank you, participants, for being with us throughout. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Take
Thank you,
care.
Kaveri. Thank you very much, ma'am. And now I invite Professor Anshika for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ranju ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all present here, Honorable Chief Guest, respected Dr. Vinti Davar ma'am, Shilpa ma'am, and Sunny Khajuria sir, and all the participants. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all. On behalf of Home Science Department, I extend my thanks to all the dignitaries, teachers, research scholars, and participants present in the conference. No event can be successful without people who dedicate their resources and time to make sure everything is faultless. I hope, ma'am, your valuable information will be helpful for all regarding superfood like ginger, garlic, turmeric, which are present in our kitchen. But general people are unable to use them due to lack of knowledge. Once again, thank you, ma'am.